All right, guys. Well, thanks for tuning in. And this is another episode of Through the Bible. I'm Chuck Rhein, a pastor at Calvary St. Joe. And we just want to share with you from each book of the Bible because we've been changed by the Word of God. And we're hoping that our excitement will rub off on you. And so today we're going to look at the book of Ruth. Chronologically fits as an appendix at the time of the book of Judges. It's especially noteworthy that God always has a remnant. And so even during some of the darkest days of Israel, I think the book of Ruth really shines. The main character, Ruth, her name means friendship, ends up being the great-grandmother of King David. And she's a picture of a type of the bride of Christ. In the book, it's a short book, it's 4 chapters. What we read in the first chapter is that Ruth has lost her husband, and then her mother-in-law has lost her husband as well as her 2 sons. And so she's at a point to where in chapter 1, she asks her 2 kind of ex-daughter-in-laws, Orpah and Ruth, to leave her. And she says, call me Mara because my name is bitter, don't call me Naomi. And Orpah goes ahead and takes off. But it's interesting, in Ruth chapter 1, it says that Ruth clings to Naomi and speaks with some of the most beautiful, heartfelt language, really in all of literature. I've actually had this come up in a college literature class as well. So in verses 16 and 17 of Ruth 1, we read, but Ruth said, in regard to the proposition of leaving Naomi, she says, do not urge me to leave you or to return from following you. For where you go, I will go, and where you lodge, I will lodge. Your people shall be my people, and your God, my God. Where you die, I will die, and there will I be buried. And may the Lord do so to me, and more also, if anything but death parts me from you. And when Naomi saw that she was determined to go with her, she said no more. What an impact for those of us that know Jesus Christ. And look at a woman who is grieving. We look at Naomi and is probably at the lowest point of her life. And if you can think about that in your own life, what Naomi has in a relationship with the God of Israel is powerful enough for Ruth to want that. And even when she's struggling the most. And I think that speaks to all of us because there are times where we look at our hearts, or God will show us a piece of our heart, or we'll look at circumstances or how we've blown this or that. And God is able to use a reflection of your relationship with Him to shine in the water of somebody else's life. And they see that what you have, though imperfect, is real. Recall, too, that Ruth grew up a Moabitess in the area of Moab, so she had a pagan upbringing, and she's choosing now, she's drawn to the God of Israel. And Naomi didn't have an easy life as a widow, to have that kind of loss. And actually, Naomi thought in her mind was that her disobedience to God caused the passing of her husband and the death of her sons. And yet, people are still able to look at her and see what a benefit there is to serve the true and living God. And that should all inspire us to do as well. John Corson tells a story in his commentary that Benjamin Franklin had a group of friends that were intellectuals and academics, but they weren't believers. And so he told them, and he wrote out by hand the book of Ruth. He told them that he had a story that he'd written, and he read all 4 chapters to them, and they applauded and said, wow, that's amazing. You should have it published. And Benjamin Franklin was able to say to him, it's already published. It's in the Bible. That silenced them. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you soon.